Well, hello, friends and followers. So what do we have here? A device under test, and this is indeed the VFO out of the Heathkit Marauder HX-10, which is sitting right there, and it's supplying 140 volts through this wire to its VFO. Isn't that nice? Let's take a look at that voltage for the heck of it. See what it says. Yep, about 140 volts to the VFO. Regulated by, I think, an OB2 or an OA2. At any rate, a tale of woe, a tale of wasted time. It took me like maybe an hour to wrestle this VFO out of the radio, and it wasn't easy. And I took it all apart in the last video and went through it, soldered connections, all that crap, cleaned it up, put it back together, and it still didn't work. And do you think I had like a 6AU6 tube lying around here? Well, I did downstairs in a box, which I was going to sell a bunch of tubes because I was thinking about getting out of tubes and ham radio in general, but I didn't do that. So I went downstairs, dug around in the box, found the tube, stuck it in, and it works. So the 6AU6 I had in here would work if I increased the heater voltage to about 8 volts. Anyway, this one, I can take the heater voltage down, and that's something you want to try in these things. You know, what if you lower your heater voltage until the thing extinguishes? So here I can dial this thing around now from its rated frequency range from 4.9 to 5.5. So I can dial the little variable capacitor in there back and forth. At any rate, yeah, it works. So I can go down to, and I made this thing somewhat linear so that when I go down to the very bottom, it stops around 4.85, and if I go to the top, you want to make it even. So that's what I did. It stops at around, was it even? Maybe not. Stops at around 5.7. That's not too even, is it? So I should really fix it up a bit. Goes to 5.5, so 4.9 to 5.5, 4.9 to 5.5. I guess I could take it to 4.8. So yeah, so you adjust this thing with this major L inductor slug here. So while we're on the video, let's do that. So I can lower this thing a bit right here. And be careful, you could wreck the slug probably with a screwdriver, but so I'll take it down a little bit here, down to 4.8 if I can. Okay, there it is, 4.8. Now I want to go up to up to 5.6 maybe. Let's see if it's linear. Okay, 4.8 to 5 point whatever. It goes up to 5.6 now. That's good. So that's even now. So that's what you want when you put it back together. I'm hoping it should work. Yep. So now the problem is going to be to put this bad boy back in there. Looks like it does work, which I'll take. So yeah, I did go through this whole thing and clean it up. Let's turn off the voltage here. Turn off the tubes. And yeah, I did go through this thing and cleaned up any suspect connections. There were a few shady connections in here. This one here was pretty bad. This connection right down in here was really shaky. So I put a new piece of wire into that one. It was kind of nasty, and that was really about it. I resoldered every connection in here just in case. So anything that had solder on it got resoldered carefully in case there were cold joints. I don't think the guy had anything cold in here at all. Maybe a couple of tiny fishy ones. And I cleaned the switch a little bit, resoldered all those. So I think this VFO is ready to get back together and back in the radio. I'll lubricate that. So let's put it back inside and see how it works out. Yeah, there are some tube shields to put on here, so before I put it back in the radio, I'll put these on and just test that it, actually those could change the frequency, couldn't they? Well, let's see if they do. Let's put them on. Yeah, you want to make sure the stuff's all installed when you're doing work on these things, right? Make sure it's all ready to go. Hang on. Put that one on. It's not going on. There it is, that's on. Put this one on. Fire it back up, see if the calibration holds. It should, but you never know. All right, it's all back on. Tube heaters, let's check the wiring. That wire's intact, that wire's intact. Nothing's gonna shock me. Tube heaters on, voltage on. 140 volt wire, make sure I'm not touching it. It is going where? 140 volt wire is going down there. We're good to go. Turn it on. And look at that. I don't see a carrier, do you? I don't see anything. So that doesn't fare well, does it? Are we turned on here? Boy, that's a little crappy, isn't it? So I'm glad I checked those shields because it wouldn't have come back on. That's hard to believe, isn't it? But that's how these things go. Okay, do I have a connection for the antenna? There's the, I don't. I took the antenna off. So that's why it doesn't work. Or do I? Oh, here's the antenna right here. Let's put it over near the, over here near the receiver. And I don't see anything. Let's check our heater voltage out. Anyway, debugging 101. We're on DC here. DC volts for the heater. Don't see anything going on. Gotta put ground on. Let's see what our heaters are doing here. Still no voltage. There we go. Still no voltage. Okay, that's a problem. Let's see. I have no current here. So yeah, something got okay. What happened was this got ungrounded. So it's grounded again. Now we got amps. We should get a signal popping up here when the tubes get warm. Let's check. There it is. Boom. Look at that. There's our signal right there. Yeah, you need heater to get this thing to go. So let's see if the tube shields change the frequency up to about 5.8, 5.6. That's fine. Down to 4.8 probably. Yep, it's perfect. So tube shields didn't change anything. All right, well that's my little discourse on this VFO. It works. Put it back in the radio and see if you get any kind of grid drive. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.